Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking, and welcome to the penultimate Pokemon review. For now. Make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell before we give it everything we've got. This is my review of Pokemon Sun and Moon. Right off the bat, I would like to mention that I will not be talking about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon simply because I didn't play them. These games weren't good enough to warrant sequels. Released in November of 2016, Pokemon Sun and Moon took players into the tropical Alola region based on Hawaii, which is the third region based on the United States. Unova was actually the second, and the first was Ouray and Coliseum and XD, but those aren't main series games, so I don't care. Anyway, the Alola region is very isolated from the rest of the Pokemon world, so a lot of the series staples are different. For example, Alola doesn't have its own Gym League or Elite Four yet. Instead, they have Trials and Trial Captains, which are basically the same thing. Also, the climate of Alola has led to many Pokemon taking on different forms with new types referred to as their Alolan form. This was the introduction to regional variants, basically an excuse to make fewer Pokemon in each generation by taking old Pokemon and giving them new types and slightly different designs. Of all the regional variants introduced in Sun and Moon, Alolan, Vulpix, and Ninetales are the only ones I really like. Also, it was a huge missed opportunity not to have an Ice-type Pokemon with a Water-type Alolan form because their ice melted. The other big gimmick Gen 7 introduced was Z-moves. Like I said in my review of X and Y, Game Freak would try to replicate the success of Mega Evolution with new gimmicks in Gen 7 and 8 and get progressively worse at it each time. Z-moves are just super powerful moves that can be used once per battle and take up an item slot. Yeah, some of them look cool, I guess, but never in a million years would I have traded Mega Evolution for these. The story of Sun and Moon really peaks at the start. You have a video call with Professor Kukui, the one and only time Pokemon was ahead of the times, before switching over to this lady, Lily, escaping this strange facility with a Pokemon in her bag. I remember seeing this intro and how strangely serious it was for such a bright game, and I got really excited at the prospect of another serious and story-driven main series game. But oh, how wrong I was. After you and Hau get starter Pokemon from Kahuna Hala, the Fire-type Litten, the Water-type Popplio, and the Grass-type Rowlet, the plot mainly revolves around the main character, named Elio or Celine, depending on your choice, and Lily traveling together throughout the Alola region while you try to complete the Island Challenge, and Lily just kinda hangs around because you saved her weird space cloud named Nebby. There's also Hau, your rival, but he's more focused on having fun and eating food than being a good character or a challenging opponent. Speaking of not being a challenging opponent, that describes the entire Island Challenge. All of them follow a very similar formula. You have to go around a specific area and complete a specific task, battle a powerful totem Pokemon, and then battle the trial captain. After completing all of the trials on an island, you must face the Grand Trial, which isn't any harder, before being able to access the next island. I barely remember these people, so this is just as much for me as it is for you, but let's run them down. The normal type trial captain with fabulous hair and a name that is impossible to decipher when just written out, Ilima. The Kahuna of Melee Island, even though I prefer Brawl Island, Hala. The water type trial captain, because what other type can you specialize in when you look like that? Lana. The fire type trial captain who makes fire hair actually make sense for once, Kiawe. The grass type trial captain who loves to cook and presents you with the best button prompt in Pokemon history, Mallow. The rock-type Kahuna of Akala Island, who insists she's just a normal girl like every Mary Sue protagonist ever, Olivia. The electric-type trial captain, and probably what Game Freak thinks the average Pokemon fan looks like, complete with Pokemon keychains and Pikachu merch, Sophocles. The ghost-type trial captain with the best trial in the game and a name I am most definitely going to say wrong, Acerola. The dark-type Kahuna of Ula Ula Island, who clearly doesn't fully appreciate living on a tropical paradise, Nanu. The fairy-type trial captain who doesn't even have a trial prepared and appears in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee for reasons, Mina. The ground-type Kahuna of Pony Island, which is severely lacking in ponies, although she does ride a horse, Hapu. And the flying-type member of Alola's inaugural Pokemon League, Kahili! If you're wondering why I only introduced one member of Alola's Elite Four, it's because the other three are people I introduced earlier, Hala, Olivia, and Acerola. Overall, Mallow and Acerola are the only ones I remember at all. Mallow for the memes, and Acerola because of her trial being the best one without question. None of them provided any challenge though. As you are progressing through your island challenge, you will eventually learn about the Aether Foundation, a seemingly altruistic organization that Lily is on the run from, and Team Skull, a generic gang that is overall pretty incompetent and inconsequential to the plot, except for their enforcer with arthritis Gladion and their leader, Guzma. All roads lead to Lusamine, the rich CEO of a successful company who ends up being an antagonist which will never be repeated again. She's the leader of the Aether Foundation and not a terrible character, but not particularly memorable. She wants to use Nevi's power to summon the Ultra Beasts. What are the Ultra Beasts, you ask? An awful idea, I respond. They're treated like legendaries even though they're just powerful aliens, and all of them suck. Like the Roid Wasp, the Origami, and the Jellyfish that looks a lot like Lily. Speaking of Lily, the Pokemon she's been carrying around is actually a Cosmog, which eventually evolves into either the legendary Pokemon of the Sun, Solgaleo, or the legendary Pokemon of the Moon, Lunala. I'd like to mention that Solgaleo is a Steel Psychic type, not a Fire type. In fact, he's weak to Fire. The Pokemon of the Sun is weak to Fire. Solgaleo and Lunala, along with Necrozma, make up the Light Trio. Obviously, those two are the Sun and Moon, while Necrozma is a being that lives by consuming light. It can attach itself to Solgaleo or Lunala to become Duskmane or Dawn Wings Necrozma respectively. Honestly, I don't care about this trio at all. Their designs are cool, but felt bogged down by the whole Ultra Beast crap and a missed opportunity to have a whole legion of legendary Pokemon that represent the solar system. The only Pokemon I actually liked were on the teams I put together. Yes, teams, I suffered through both Sun and Moon. In Pokemon Sun, I used the Fire Dark type Incineroar, the Grass type Sarina, the Ghost Fairy type Mimikyu, the Rock Flying type Minior, the Normal Flying type Beware, and the Water type Wishiwashi. In Pokemon Moon, I used the Grass Ghost and to date the only Grass starter I've ever used, Decidueye, the Bug Electric type Vigavolt, the Fire Poison type Salazzle, the Fairy type Sylveon, the Ghost Ground type Palisand, and the Fighting Ice type Crabominable. Yes, okay, that makes it like 3 Sylveons I've used, but I hadn't established the rules yet, and Sylveon always came through on any team I put her on. That's mainly why Sylveon became one of my favorite Pokemon. Overall, if X and Y were defined by being forgettable, Sun and Moon are defined by being a huge missed opportunity. They finally switched up the core gameplay mechanic of collecting 8 gym badges, but replaced it with essentially the same freaking thing. Everything in the game has no sense of challenge, and the game refuses to stop holding your hand. Like Game Freak had the courage to change up the formula a bit, but didn't have the courage to let players get through it on their own. You are constantly guided and interrupted by dialogue and cutscenes that immediately halt any momentum the game may have had. The islands of Alola feel empty and underdeveloped, not like they should, like a tropical island sense, as in a there's nothing to do here sense. All of the villains are ineffective and forgettable, and the Ultra Beasts and Z moves were just bad ideas. I will say this though, I liked the mini arc that both Lily and Gladion go through. But even that was hard to focus on with the protagonist's dead stare that never changes. 4 out of 10. Oh, and that's it. With Sun and Moon out of the way, there's only one game left before the first series on this channel is concluded. For now, make sure to like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and hit the notification bell. Next time we have a right blood on our hands. Oh god, that accent aside, this is your captain speaking, and I hope to see you there.